If you live by the bullet, then you die by the gun. Got some peoples up in heaven, but we all got some. But I'll never understand why the good die young. Hope you listen when I kick it, no matter where you're from. If you live by the bullet, then you die by the gun.
You know who it's gonna be heavy for? The toxic ones.
The top. Oh, yeah. It's definitely
They ain't feeling that.
because they gotta get that mirror. They gotta look in the mirror and like,
Exactly.
I know I'm toxic, but I can't. I can't tell people that I know I'm toxic.
Right.
I gotta put the makeup on. I gotta wear my wig. I gotta get my lace front. I gotta lace front.
And then I gotta blame shit.
Then I gotta
blame shit.
Then I gotta hop it over. I got to.
That's their favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Soon as you expose them, what about you?
Yep.
What the fuck?
We ain't talking about me.
We ain't talking about me. We talking about you right now.
Right.
Nah, but that.
Deflecting. Yep. Pulling the trunk. Yep.
Exactly. What is that? The narcissistic.
Yes.
That's when I first started studying. That situation from that song is when I first started studying narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started studying it, and I remember I went on a I didn't even know what the heck a narcissist. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that something with this situation, it wasn't no regular relationship. I'm like, this is like so damn near psychopath, man. So this crazy, it's like Jekyll Hyde type of thing.
We call it sociopath.
Sociopath. That's exactly what it is. I couldn't think of the word because when you study narcissism, it is a form of sociopath. It is.
Yeah.
So it was this book. I went to a men's church retreat with you know where From the Heart Ministries at?
Yeah. I know a couple people that go there.
My folks go there. So they called me, it was like, yeah, man, you wanna he was like, I paid for your junk for you to go to the men's retreat, get away in the mountain school. All right, cool. And that was during the time where I was going through it. So I was like, yes, I need that.
Yeah.
So got around there, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of godly brothers and stuff like that. Everywhere I turned, I was getting wisdom and stuff like that. You know, getting fed spiritual food and getting the word based on my situation. And before we left off the mountain, you know, the voice of God just led me to this bookstore and was like, get a book before you leave. And I was like, all right, so I walk in the drink. I'm like, what book to get? I don't know. Just get a book before I leave? You know, okay. So I just getting to walk around the bookstore. And it was just one of them things like, I'm going to know it when I see it. It's like God saying, you going to know it when you see it. So I walk around the bookstore and stuff like that. And I was figuring to walk out because I was like, all right, I'm done. I don't even know I don't know. And I came across this black book. And that joint just stood out. And then something was like, that's it. And when I looked at it on the front of it, it said Jezebel. And I was like, that's her. That's her. I'm getting this joke. I was so happy and excited. I walked up to the register. The lady was just looking like, it's a good book, sir. You know? It's like, you don't even know. What we say, you don't even know.
Right.
So I got that drink. So this is before we even stopped dealing with each other. This is when we were still in the, in the BS. So I took it home. I read like 1 or 2 pages of the joint. The first 2 pages was describing my whole situation. And it was talking about narcissism and sociopaths, but from a biblical pretense. So it was like, ooh, this is deep. And it was talking about how the Jezebel spirit is incorporated into that. So it was explained in such a powerful way. After the 2 pages, I didn't read the rest of the book, right? So this the crazy part. I'm still in the fire. You know, it get worse. And then it came to the ending. So after it, when I'm all drained, drinking, and looking like the man on the cover of my song, make sure y'all check that joint out. I went back and got my relationship back with God because in that situation, I left out the church. I stopped going to church. I stopped praying like I should. I started drinking more, smoking more. Because at that time I was practicing abstinence, man, for 2 years. Because I was waiting on my wife, man. I really wanted with God, I really wanted to do it God's way. But when that's how I failed. And like you said, it came in the form of being bogarted with charm. It's constantly being bogarted. And at first it was like, no, I'm good. Nah, I don't even see, that ain't for us. Like, nah. And it was like, no. Then it was being bogarted sexually. Like, anything you want, I'm gonna do it. It's like, I'm still a man. I love God, but I'm a man. If we get too much of that, we gonna break. If we, you know what I'm saying? You gotta run from that in order to get away. If you sit back and just keep, nah, you gonna give in. Something gonna come out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Something gonna come out. So when I fell with her, it's like that's when I took a turn for the worse. But it's like I had a brother of mine that went to the church with me, and me and him would talk about the situation all the time. We would be talking about, man, how you walking this walk with God and you trying to do the right thing. You know how the devil gonna come at you. And he was talking about his situation. He was going through the same situation with a little chick. He just kept talking about, man, she toxic though, man. She real toxic. And every time I try to get away from her and get my life right, she back. Hey, what's going on? Forgive me for all the extra stuff, but yeah, I just want to make things work. And he's like, man, when I be just getting to think about, I'm gonna be honest, the crazy sex and all that, I open that door again back to all that toxic, and they'd be like, why did I do that?
Right.
And that was one of the things where I kept doing, and I seen myself. It's like when I first messed up, it was like I felt like, man, I could bounce back from that and leave her alone. But sometimes we fool ourselves on the passions of lust and how strong it really is.
Right.
And you be thinking like, yeah, I could do this and just get away from it. And not knowing it's like, you already got it. Right. You in a relationship with toxicness and you don't even know it already. You already got it. Yeah. And when I got in that situation, goodness gracious, it like took me deep. It's like a shark grabbing your foot and taking you out in the middle of the water. And it was just like, dang, how did I get here? And after, when it came to the end, when I stopped talking to her and I was just distraught, like I was trying, so I built up all these bad habits now. I'm back, so I broke my abstinence, so I'm back. I have that appetite now because me and her, we on a daily basis, all day long. So it's like now she gone. I still gotta feed this flesh, so now I'm back on the man hunt again. I'm like, man, where the ladies at, man? I'm calling my mans in the back up. Yeah, I'm back now. I'm back. What's up? They like, Slim, what's good? Ain't you in a relationship with God, man? I'm like, man, look, man, I'm going through it right now, and that's what I want people to understand too, man. Because so many people give us who do love the Lord and love God a bad rep. We still human, dog.
Right, yeah.
We still human, but don't ever use that as an excuse to keep doing wrong.
Yeah. At
the same time, but you still human. If you fall, just make sure you stay around people who can help you back up. Because it's inevitable that you're going to face temptations and face trials all your life.
Yeah.
But you should always be getting stronger after every fall. You should not be constantly repeating the same cycle or doing something willingly, knowing that it's wrong, putting yourself in situations when you know that ain't what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
But we all take these falls. So my mans and it used to make me laugh because you feel convicted when you know, like, my dedication to God is strong. So, and they know that. They know how I represent for the Lord. And like, man, ain't you, man, you need to go to church. And I'm like, man, Slim, I'm not making it to church right now. I'm not thinking about where the legs at. You keep talking about church, where the legs at? They like, oh yeah, you stressing. You stressing. We gotta come get you stressing. I'm like, man, shorty drove me crazy. Yeah. And it was crazy how I used to tell them in the beginning. I used to be like, man, I think she a Jezebel. And they used to think I'd be joking about it, but I was serious. You know what I'm saying? Based on the characteristics of what the Jezebel spirit is. Right. Like I said, that similar spirit. So they be like, they used to be like, Slim, yeah, you used to tell us about Jezebel got you, huh? So I used to be convicted, because like you said, I seen the red flags. I knew I wasn't supposed to get in that thing. Everything, it couldn't have been a bigger sign up they could have told me, hey, go the other way, Slim. Don't leave it alone. No, it's not for you. And I still did it. So I was bitter about it for a long time because when you hurt, the first thing you do when you hurt, if you don't assess the pain the right way, your outlook is always going to be tainted. And it's going to be tainted based on aggression and anger because it's going to be, look what you did to me. You did me wrong. But having people to talk to me, mainly God, my relationship with God, but having people to talk to me based on things I told them in the beginning about me seeing the red flags, it humbled me a lot. And it was like, because every time I talk to somebody, I'm like, yeah, you know, venting about it. Yeah, I can't believe this, blah, blah, blah. And she did this and did that. They be like, yeah, you used to say she wasn't. Yeah, you used to always say she was Jezebel and you ain't trust her and something was sneaky about her and you used to say it all the time. And I'd be sitting there like, really? I don't need to hear that right now. I need you to just let me just vent.
Right.
But every time it'll humble me and it'll be like, all these people keep saying that and I gotta look up like, that's you, right? I know it is. That's you telling me. You told me so and I went ahead and did it anyway. So don't cry about it now. Let me get right back to it because my focus was you first before I came here. So I understand. I understand why I went through it now. I understand. And it changed my perspective. It's like, because one thing I also want people to take from relationships, and I'm going to get back about the book thing. I know I went off a little bit, but one thing about relationships I want people to take is it takes two to tango. We all have our part to play. So though I can say, even in my song, you know, like I said, we like to tell our side of the story. But it's always a whole matter. Yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a perfect guy. And it took a lot of, it helped me grow a lot in a lot of immature ways and immature things that I have done that may have caused certain arguments and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Despite the toxicness or the toxic behavior of the other person, I know that I did have ways and traits that were toxic as well. May not been on the level of the sociopath. You dig what I'm saying? Right. But it definitely was some immaturity. Like right now, because Valentine's Day coming up, I want to apologize to all the women who I've ever, as a young man, matter of fact, even as a man right now, of not being considerate, not being I know inconsistency is a pet peeve for so many women, and I've been guilty for that many times because we get caught up in our business and taking care and we, you know, making false promises, but not with the ill intent. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that or we gonna do that, but we get so caught up on this and that and the third, and we expect her to understand, like, look, but I had to do this, that, and the third. And I apologize for the lack of communication because I can't expect you if I don't communicate it. I can't expect you to understand. So I apologize to all the women I've ever hurt or offended or did any immature act or any immaturity that caused you to feel, you know, like I've, you know, I don't know how to put it in the best words, but I apologize. You know what I mean? I'm just a man. I'm trying to beat all that I can. I hope that you can understand these situations I be in. That's Wink from back, y'all, but you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, though? You know what I'm saying? But we're going back to the book. So after I got out of that situation, and I started reading, I picked the book back up. So I got the book in the midst of the fire. And I read 2 pages and put it back down. And a whole slew of events happened after that. So after everything over, you know, I'm back home trying to get these habits back out. Me, the drinking, the smoking, the going around looking for women, trying to get my habits back right, get myself back disciplined, you know. And I picked this book back up. And I began to read it. Man, why it's like it basically told me what to do and how to get out that situation, what to look for. It told me exactly everything that was going wrong. And I looked up to God. I say, why you make me read the book? After that, I go through all this stuff. Why? And it was like, God was like, no. I've been told you to read. That was your choice. Mm-hmm. He was like, but also, you needed to go through that for you to understand. Because now, think about it. How many men we can help based on because we went through that. Because when God do things, we don't always understand why. And when we go through certain things, we don't always understand why. Why the hell I go through this? Why I get within this relationship? Right. Most of the times it be because I had choices. Like we talk about seeing the red flags. But it's always a bigger purpose when we come to God. Right. We be looking at the small picture like, dang, I made a mistake and I did this and did that. But God be looking like, I allowed you to go through that because you not knowing when you get a platform or something to speak on that and tell that story, what man that's going through that right now and that's about to kill himself because he don't understand what's going on, that you may say something, he be like, oh man, I feel it. That's what I'm going through. And hear that and may change his whole perspective about, you know what I'm saying? And so after that, God was just letting me know. And it's crazy. Right after that happened, certain situations happened with friends of mine and family members of mine that came to me with the same situation. And I was able to be a comfort to them because I understood. Because like I said, when I would be telling people about my situation, they would give me advice and I'd be like, you don't understand what I'm going through. It's not working. I understand you trying to give me good advice, but you don't understand. You're not understanding me. You're not understanding me. But when these people came to me after I went through it, it was like, wow. I said, and it's a scripture that it said, God comforts those. He said, God comforts you so that you, in the times of other people's distress, so that you can comfort others. And at that time I was going through it with that situation, I had nobody to understand what I was going through. And the only comfort I got was when I was looking to God and like praying and like, Lord, help me. Like, help me. Because I don't understand. The people who would try to give me advice, it'd be like, that's not it. That ain't it, man. What you saying is that's not going to help. You don't know what I'm dealing with. Right. But when I was able to talk to them, and they'd be looking like, hey, what you was with her too? we messing with the same girl. I'd be like, no, man, I understand you, man. I understand. I've been through the similar situation. I understand you. Because they be like, woo, man, I be talking to other people, man, and I'll be like, they just don't understand. I'm like, but I understand you. You know what I'm saying? The worst thing you could do is, and it's always to try to go somewhere else with somebody else and be like, maybe I should just get me somebody else to make this better. Like, that's the worst thing you could do, man. Best thing you could do, get you right. Focus on your mental health, your spiritual health, as well as your emotional health. Get that right. Get that right with you. And then when you decide, do an evaluation and decide if you're ready to go out here healed and whole, to bring somebody else who healed and whole in your life.
Jump in and say that goes both ways.
It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
For the women too.
Because it never can be one-sided, man. That's just like we was just talking about. It can't be, you can't get in no relationship with somebody and you thinking the us thing and they thinking the me thing. You know what I'm saying? Or you thinking the me thing and they thinking the us thing. You can't do that. Don't get in no relationship still trying to be single. There's so many people that do that. Like, I see it pointless when most people talk about the side. Like, where I get a side chick or girls want, females want to get the side dude and you in a relationship. But most people do that because they not healed. They still hurt from past trauma. So their thing is, they already in expectancy like, this person going to cheat anyway, so I might as well keep something on the side just in case this person act up. And that's majority of relationships now. And it's like you might as well don't even be in no relationship with somebody. Because if that person fully committed, you're going to take that person for a journey of toxicity that they don't need to be in. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm just, all this for real is just giving y'all, I'm trying to just give understanding and wisdom about my song, but this is just real life experiences. That's all I'm just sharing is real life experiences And this is really what my song is about, you know, the situation. And then from a man perspective, because you hear a lot of women talk about from this perspective of toxic men. And especially when I start doing study on narcissism, it's mainly women talking about narcissistic men. That's I hear that all the time. I didn't never really hear too many men speaking out on like the narcissistic women. But you know, until I start really getting into it, and then you hear men come with stories, yeah, man. I be like, hey, brother, hey, welcome to the club. But you know, it taught me so much. You know what I'm saying? Especially just about, and that narcissism is so much deeper and than just relationships. You know what I'm saying? We can go political with this one. We can go in family. Like we was talking about how you know, you hear a lot about deadbeat dads and toxic dads, but let's also talk about toxic moms. Because toxic moms can definitely they can be so detrimental to a child's upbringing. Very detrimental. And not only detrimental to that child's upbringing, but even to the child's other parent, you know. Maybe if it's the father or you know, the baby father, however you want to put it, you know what I'm saying? But we should always be able to talk on both sides of the story, and not to bash each other, but just to come to an understanding so that we can realize of the wrongness that we may be doing, or that of other person, that we can expose what's been done wrong. We can expose the toxic place, because you can't really deal with a situation or get rid of it until you kill it at the root. And a lot of times, these things are not being talked about. If it's not being talked about, then you can't never... If you go to the doctor faking, and you know you be smoking and drinking and doing this, that, and the third, but you figure, I ain't gonna tell him all that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna tell him I be having sex all the time, no condom on. You know, he can't get to the root of the problem or go into the areas that may need to be checked. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so good for us to always share our testimonies and share our story, no matter how you feel, because it sheds light sometimes on the root of the problem. You dig what I'm saying? And that's why I came up with this song, Mend My Broken Heart. And it was really to shed light on the root of the problem of me dealing with being in a narcissistic relationship. You know what I'm saying? Been in a narcissistic relationship. So if you... if you ever been in a narcissistic relationship, you know what I'm talking about. Whoever watching, whoever listening. If you ever been in one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know the characteristics, you know the attributes, you know what come with it, you know the blame shifting, what else, what you call it, the reflecting, you know what I'm saying, the bogarting you with a bunch of charm and all that stuff. Then they take it away and they act like you was the one coming at them. And I ain't gonna get into it all, but you know what I'm saying. You know, but there's so many other things I wanted to get on. I didn't want to stay there.
Well, I did want to. I wanted to go to a point that you were getting at, talking about "Mend My Broken Heart."
Right.
And a lot of it actually connects with another song that you just actually released. "I'm Yours."
Ooh, praise the Lord.
Yeah. That one. I was listening to it, and you were saying certain things in it, and it's a series of lyrics that you said, where you said, "Disobedience the reason I get many afflictions, disregarding wise counsel and ignoring restrictions, the painful consequences of being so foolish, tied up the bad decisions that I keep choosing, the bad that I shouldn't do, I just keep doing, involuntary movements, corrupted influence. I think I realize what the problem could be. I want to do good, but evil's present with me." Yeah.
Woo!
Like,
hey! I like that. Hey, that's real business.
All of that, like, connected to everything you just said.
Real business.
In terms of being in that situation with the young lady.
Right.
And knowing what's right, but yet doing what you want to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing that I appreciate about that song, the thing that I appreciate about this entire conversation is your transparency.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's very clear that you you love the Lord.
Oh yeah.
That
Definitely.
you have a relationship with God.
Definitely.
But a lot of times, and we've said this whether on camera or off camera, a lot of times people see Christians
Right.
and they think perfection, automatic perfection.
Oh, no.
And the thing is, nobody no matter what you subscribe to, you know what I'm saying, no matter whether it's Jesus, no matter whether it's Allah, you know what I'm saying, no matter what you call God. The bottom line is you're going to struggle because at the end of the day, you're a human.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And the struggles are inevitable.
Right, exactly. So me hearing that in that song, I feel like that's one of, now we haven't heard Men My Broken Heart yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
right.
I'm Yours as it stands from listening to that is probably like your most transparent song to date. You know what I'm saying? And putting yourself out there, I think talk about the importance of putting yourself out there for people who might be going through that same struggle, and like they keep getting in this spiritual tug of war between good and evil.
That's good. Okay, there's a chapter in the Bible called Psalm 51. It was written by David, King David, which he was a songwriter.
Yeah.
And that song was based on him repenting to God, crying out to God to tell God, listen, please don't do away with me. Please don't destroy me because of what he did. And what David did was, David was king at the time. And David was, just like all of us men, was a man who had a lust problem when it came to women.
Yeah.
So, but David was king. And as king, you can use that for my church people as being anointed. David was anointed. And for my people who not in the church, just say David was a big celebrity, a big songwriter. You know what I'm saying? He was like a Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? So David, he was also in the army. He was the like head of the army. He was the captain of the army and stuff like that. So what David did, David seen, it was a lady named Bathsheba, and she was the wife of one of his soldiers. Yep. So one day David could have anyone. David had all the women. So we just told you his rank, who he was. He was a songwriter, everything. Legs. He had all the legs. You hear me? So David could have had any woman he wanted. Yeah. And David was a man of God before any of those titles. He was a man of God. So, and this also go to show, like I said, there's no perfect. It don't matter who you are. The holiest man will fall to evil if you focus on it too much, or if you put yourself in that situation, because you always got this. And the flesh always gonna want what it wants. The flesh wants the opposite of what the spirit wants for you. You know what I'm saying? So he came out in his palace one day, in his mansion. Let me put it like this. David walked out his mansion one day out on the balcony. And Bathsheba, she was over across the street at her house with the window open, taking a bath. Now Bathsheba was bad. You know what I'm saying? So when David laid eyes on her, David said, goodness gracious. You know what I'm saying? David started lusting after her. As because he began to focus on her too much. Instead of turning away from it, knowing that it was wrong, he knew wrong from right. He knew what God didn't. He knew what was he knew what was forbidden to him. And for one, he had his own already. You had your own. You had your own woman. You had your own wives. So why mess with another man's wife? So when he laid eyes on her, that lust got in his heart. And that's the thing about it. It's one thing for you to see something, but it's another thing for you to focus on it until the point you get into your heart. That's even like, well, let me continue with the story. Okay, so after he seen Bathsheba, David went back and he started plotting. Because David knew, I got to hit that. I got to hit that. And he contemplated about it because he had pull. David had that juice. Right. You know, he was big time. You know what I mean? And man of God. God had him in a position where he was on the throne. Yeah. So he sent for it. You know, he sent one of his people, hey, go tell Bathsheba, come holler at me real quick. He already knew. David knew he had the juice. He knew when Bathsheba walked in that mansion, she know who David is. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When she walked in that mansion, she was going to be like, oh, David. He got the mansion. David got all this. He got the Bugatti. He got all the drip. You know what I'm saying? So he already knew. David knew what he was doing.
Right.
But he tried to play it off, and a lot of us do that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We try to make it look like we ain't doing one thing. That's like, I know all the men out here that say that I'm going to go over her house and just chill. I ain't going to do nothing. Yeah. Trying to psych yourself out. It's a trap because you actually making provisions for you to do something you know you ain't got no business doing. You know what I'm saying? So when Bathsheba came and she came over there, you know, David called himself. He psyched himself out to try to make it look innocent, but he already know he was warning her. You know what I'm saying? So when she came over there, he knew she was going to be wooed. And David ended up hitting it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. This is the Bible. This is the Bible. I'm giving you the truth. You know what I'm saying? David ended up hitting it. So when David hit it, and this is just me right here. This don't say this in the Bible, but I believe he hit it more than once. I believe it was good because he ended up getting her pregnant. Now, it might have been extra good if he got it on the first time, but, that's just me. But, he ended up getting her pregnant. So when he got her pregnant, now, mind you, I just told you that Bathsheba was one of his soldiers' wife. Mm-hmm. And his soldier, when he got her pregnant, he sent the soldier out. It was a war that was going on at the time. Yeah. So when he got her pregnant, David got so nervous and scared for him to find out that he sent. And this is the crazy thing. And I always got to stop and give different crumbs. Whatever you do, the last person that you should care about finding out is people. God always got your number. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that karma knows everybody's address? Because God is the one who always see. Why you think you hiding from everybody else? God just sitting there like, you don't even know. you hiding from them, but I'm the one you should be worried about. Right. And for David to be a man of God, you know what I'm saying? That go to show you, I don't care what title or position that you have in church or anything like that, you're prone to fall like everybody else. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So David sent this man, David did him dirty. David sent this man to the war. He called him when he found out that she was pregnant. He called him from the war. He was fighting. He called him from the war and was like, hey, I know you've been out there fighting and doing all that, man. Why don't you go spend some time with your lady, man? You know what I'm saying? So he got him drunk. He got the man drunk and everything. Now, it's crazy how he doing. And he a man of God, big time songwriter. David, straight warrior, straight soldier. That's why he was a general. Telling him, man, look, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So he's setting him up because he getting him drunk and telling him, man, go spend some time with your lady. So he can get so drunk and go sleep with her and not realize that, oh, that's my baby. So he trying to pull the okie doke on him. Mm-hmm. So whole time he get the dude drunk, right? Tell him, man, yeah, go chill with your wife, man. Don't worry about that war. The rest of our men out there, they got it. They gunning. They good. Go ahead, go chill with your lady. So he thought he didn't have the whole man. He thought he came up with the master plan. I'm out of this. Mm-hmm. David wake up in the morning, go to his front door to step out, smell the fresh air. Guess who laying right there drunk? Hey, man, what you still doing right here, man? Yeah. Oh, man, I couldn't just go there and sleep with my wife, you know what I'm saying? And knowing that the boys back out there gunning, I got to go fight with them. So now David like, oh my God, that plan didn't work. Right. This Bama got drunk and fell asleep because he thinking about the men out there fighting. Now, how bad is that somebody who ain't even in your position is more humble than you? And that's why sometimes people outside of the church, don't get me to preaching. Sometimes people outside of the church humble somebody who got a title in the church who think that they doing something, man. For sure. Because this man had more humility than David. And look at the position David was in. Right. You dig what I'm saying? Right. So being as though that plan didn't work, David was like, I got to go with the extreme plan. I got to get rid of him. Because he was going to go this far to try to cover up what he done wrong. Right. he was willing to go to the fullest extent to kill not just any man. This was his good man.
Mm-hmm.
His good man. And that go to show you, man, how sometimes the closest people to you can do you the dirtiest.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So be careful who you riding with and who you let in your circle and who you call friend.
Mm-hmm.
So he sent David. David sent him out there in the war on the front line, knowing he was going to get killed. Sent the man out there on the front line. And the man went out there on the front line and died. And all that because of David's lust problem. All that because of his lust problem. So it came to pass. You know, sometimes when we do things, God don't act right away.
Right.
God won't speak right away. Nothing will happen. So it seems as if we got away with it. You may steal something. You may rob somebody. I'm just speaking on me right there. You know what I'm saying? You may do anything, but just because something don't happen right away don't mean that God ain't see it. I remember I used to get whoopings all the time, 6, 7 a day, you know what I'm saying? So I used to do stuff, and the crazy part, the torment would be, man, my father come home, and I already know, you know how you try to go to sleep, and like, man, you try to go to sleep so you don't get no whooping, but he'd come home and act like ain't nothing happened. So I'd be feeling like, oh, maybe we good, but I'd be like, nah, he playing with me. He gonna try. He gonna get me later on.
Wait till you get in the bed.
He gonna wait till I get in the bed. He gonna try to get me. Days ago past.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. It'll be as soon as I put my guard down. Hey, let me holler at you real quick. Oh yeah, what's up? Don't what's up me. Shut the door. Oh! Oh no! I thought everything is good.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not good. I know you thought it was, but I was just waiting for you to drop your guard. You know what I'm saying? And that's how God will do. And that's how karma seems to always hit you when you drop your guard. Because you be waiting on it. Some of us just be waiting on, like, I already know what I did. I'm waiting for it to come. And it don't never come when you want it to. It come when you good and like, man, I ain't even tripping about it no more.
Right.
That drink come and smack you right in the face. So David went, he went a while and nothing was said about it. It's like, man, I got to clean away with it. I think she ended up, I forgot what happened with her and the baby. So before I try to reiterate on that, let me stick on the subject. David went and nothing was said, but there was a prophet that came to David. And I believe it was a prophet, and he came to David and was like, man, it was this great. I think it was like God had sent them there, though. And he sent them there, and it was kind of like a parable that he told them, but the whole time it was about David. So he told them, man, it was this thing that happened in the kingdom, inside their kingdom, and somebody had did something real terrible. So David was like, what? He was the general. What? Where they at? Go get him. That can't happen here. We got to kill him. He need to be punished for that. This dude done forgot about the crazy stuff he done did. As time that went on, he thought everything was sweet. So the prophet looked at him, and David said, who is he? We go get him. Who is he? Bring him here. We got to kill him. The prophet turned and looked at him. You ain't about to do that right now, Satan. So the prophet looked at him and said, it's you. He said, it's me. He said, yeah, you thought God didn't know and seen what you did? You killed that man. Because of your lust problem, you had that man killed, one of your soldiers. And he fell to his knees. But see, one thing about David, and what a lot of us men have to, and I say us men, because it's something with me too, we have to learn to take accountability for when we wrong. We have to learn how to take, and that's why I know that's for women. I know they clap it. They gonna clap when they hear it. Yeah, I was telling them that the other day. I already know, because look, I know I'm guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm guilty of it, but we have to learn to take accountability when we wrong. Know you wrong, own up to it, change it. Straight up. David was a man after God's own heart. When David was wrong, he knew he was wrong. He took it on the chin. When he came and exposed it and let it be known, David just fell to his knees and was like, you know what, God? But that's what Psalm 51 came at. He wrote that song to God to let him know, please don't don't destroy me, because I know for what I've done, I should be destroyed. But this the kicker though. This the kicker. David was an understudy to Saul, who was king before him. Saul was king before David, and he was an understudy. So before David became king, Saul was in that position. Saul disobeyed God. God told him to do something. Saul disobeyed him. God took his spirit. He took the anointing away from Saul and destroyed him. Saul died because of his disobedience to God. So before he died, God took his anointing from David and basically cursed him. So David had Saul, he took his anointing from Saul and cursed him. So Saul had like a troubling spirit. So he was always vexed. Think of it as like a depression or something, a deep depression. And couldn't nothing soothe it except for David's gift to play music. So God would send David in to play the music, the harp. And that was the only thing that would soothe that troubling spirit that Saul had. So God did that for a reason. He not only did he wanted to show that this is what happened when you disobey me, he already knew David was anointed king before Saul died. So David was next up in line. So he wanted to show David, this is what happened when you disobey me, when you do wrong. So David already knew when he did that with Bathsheba in his wrongness, God gonna kill me. I'm gonna be destroyed. So that was his cry out like, Lord, please. Because I already seen what you did. I know what you gonna do. I know it. Please don't do me like that. But see, Saul was different. Saul didn't repent. Saul didn't cry out to God in his wrongness. Saul didn't own up. What Saul did was got angry. You gonna take my position away from me? For what? For me? Too much self. Too much pride. He wouldn't own up to his accountability. You was wrong. You knew you was wrong. So I'm gonna do away with you. But David learned from that mistake and say, nah, I ain't doing what he doing. I'm gonna cry out to you and I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna praise you. I was wrong, but forgive me. Don't do me like you did, Saul. I'm yours was my Psalm 51. And it was just to let people know, listen, I mess up too. I don't care what position. I don't care if you see me acting, rapping, whatever you see me doing on a red carpet or whatever. A man of God, I mess up too. But it had less to do with people and everything to do about God. It was me to say, you know what, God? I don't care what I do with my gift. It ain't nothing if I don't do it for you. And it ain't nothing that if I don't dedicate it to you. I'm going to let you know that I mess up. You see me. I mess up. I don't care how good I may be walking with you one day. Some days I fall back into old habits. Some days I fall back into doing the wrong thing. And I know it's because of this flesh. You know what I'm saying? I know it's because the devil always tempted me. And what I said that when I want to do wrong, evil is present with me. The good I shouldn't do, I keep on doing. That's a scripture, actually. I think Paul wrote that. It's a scripture. He said, the good I want to do, I don't do it. But the bad thing I don't want to do, I keep on doing it. And basically he said, because evil is present with me. I know it. And the evil thing in the Bible, it says nothing good dwells in this flesh. So he said, I know it's the desires of my flesh that make me want to do the opposite of the spiritual discipline and the spiritual righteousness that you want me to have. I know it's the natural desires that I have of everything my flesh want. My flesh want temporary pleasure. My flesh want to smoke. My flesh want to get a drink. My flesh want to drink a hind and to get some Hennessy. I know that ain't what my spirit man want, but my flesh want to do that. My flesh want to get some legs. My flesh want to go to the OZO and see the short skirts. That's what it want to do. And it's how we have to be transparent in the church, because people see too many people who believe in God or supposed to be followers of Christ, but you're not being transparent. You acting as if you never have these problems, or you acting as if you better than them because you may be at a certain point now where you're not doing these things. Don't ever get that high up to think that God can't take it away and bring or uncover you. Because a lot of people are hiding behind this look and all that. But if God pull a curtain back and uncover what you used to be or what you really used to do, it'll humble a lot of people. And me, I just always feel like, man, if you're going to walk with God, your life is an open book. And I always been what you see is what you get type of dude. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing to hide. I ain't got nothing to, you know, what you see is what you get. I believe in being genuine and being real. An old head told me long time ago, he pulled me to the side and was like, Shorty, listen, I know y'all be running around here doing all this wild, crazy stuff, want to be gangsters and all that, but that ain't the way to go. He said, if you want to do anything in your life, be a real man. Be real. Be real. And as I got older, you know, real when you growing up just meant being a stand-up guy. That's what I took it as, being a stand-up guy. You know what I'm saying? Being a good man. But I learned that being a real person, man, is owning up to the good attributes and characteristics of you as well as owning up to the bad ones. Because that's the only way that you can be real. I can't sit in front of you and tell you everything good about me and act like that it ain't no bad. That ain't real. Right. Now, I become one of these actors that you see on TV, that superhero that never get whooped or that never take no L's. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. That perfect dad that you see on TV, on a TV show, that never go through no problems. That everything is all sunshine and white clouds. Nah, I'm going to tell you the bad as well as I'm going to tell you the good. But I'm going to tell you how God worked out the bad for my good as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what being real is to me. So that was my song of me being real with God and pleading and crying out to him saying, listen, Lord. And because this is the funny thing. It's like before a lot of people talk about their testimonies before you get saved or before you get in a relationship with God. But some of the deepest, powerful testimonies is after. And like David. Yeah. David was a man of God when he slept with his man wife and got him killed. That wasn't before he knew God. That was after. You know what I'm saying? So even after being saved, I done had some falls. I done did something. I done fell back into fornicating with women. I fell back into drinking. Fell back into smoking and all that stuff. And these the things I constantly promised God that I wouldn't do this no more. I wouldn't do this no more. And you can use that even in a relationship with your woman. Like a man that may have cheated or a man that or women too. You know what I'm saying? You may have done things where you be like, I'm sorry, you know. And I'm going to just speak on myself. When you be like, I'm sorry, boo. I ain't going to do that no more. And then you do it again. And then she take you back. And I'm sorry, boo. I promise it's never happen again. Then you do it again. It's like when you dealing with people, that's a cutoff. That's a cutoff. It's like ain't nobody gonna keep taking that. But when you dealing with God, man, God's goodness is so good. God keep forgiving you. Yeah. But don't take advantage of it now because it always will be consequences. But God's mercy is just so good. He'll always keep his arms and keep his door open to you. If you cry out, if you repent, if you serious in your heart, you know what I'm saying? Because he know the struggles we deal with. You know what I'm saying? So that was just me letting them know and being open with it. Like, I don't care who here, Lord. I want you to know. And I want people to know I mess up over and over. I mess up a lot. I stay disappointing God. Not all the time like that, you know, but I disappoint him a lot. You know what I'm saying? I fall back into my old habits sometimes. Even that it could be a long streak of me walking good. This happens. And I just want people to know that this happens. But the thing is, the Bible said a righteous man falls 7 times and get back up 8. And you can translate that into saying a real man, somebody who is very dedicated and really want to keep going and stay in the game and really want to keep their mind right and their focus right. Somebody that's strong-willed, no matter how many times they fall, they will always get up right after that. They will always keep getting up non-stop. And that was just, that's just my song, just letting God know, look, I'm yours. I know I messed up. I know I did this, that, and the third, but don't forget, I'm yours. Please forgive me. Just like David cried out. That was my cry out. You know what I'm saying? Because I did some wild stuff. I done did some stuff even after being saved, knowing I was wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, indeed.
Real business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Ramsey, anything you want to?
Nah, man. You did all the song. You know what I like.
Yes.
So I never.
You like bars.
Yeah.
I was already hip.
Absolutely.
I was already hip. All right, this what I'm going to do. I told him I'm going to go a cappella because this me, and I'm going to say this before I go into it. Me, I usually like when I've grown more and you know what I'm saying, and just grown more and becoming more wiser and just understanding the powerfulness and effectiveness, like you said.
Oh. I know I act like I didn't want to ask a question, but speaking, you speak of ministry and stuff like that. What I do like to ask outside of my bars, I love bars.
Right.
What are you doing, or what is the next step? I know it's not over, but you create music. You was talking about Migo with his clothing.
Oh well, that's an old friend. Like me and him, we I ain't even talk to Migo enough. That's just one of my friends that we don't even associate like that no more. Me and Migo, like I barely see Migo, but when we see each other, it's love. You know what I'm saying? But with me, I got my own brand.
Right now,
and that's the real yeah.
That's what I'm going.
Okay,
so
I got my own brand, and it's Real Business Ministries. I got different type of logos. Like I use it as a billboard, really. I got my little brand, my little logo, and I may use it for like domestic violence, where I may have my logo and have something represent domestic violence. Cool. Shout out to the Lakeisha Brown Foundation and the Ladies of Sisters for Sisters organization, who I actually got my start with the Lakeisha Brown Foundation. Before I even started doing my music, I was doing poetry. They gave me my first start ever. The Keisha Brown Foundation. Shout out to Miss Mignon Anderson and all the lovely ladies. Love y'all and thank you. God bless you. And I got my movement, Spread Love Not Bullets, man, for the gun violence, man. Just for to bring awareness to gun violence, man, and just try to use my platform to be a voice, man, and share my testimony to shed a light on what's going on, and not just here. But like everywhere, Chicago, B-more, and I feel as though it's our duty of those who come from the streets and come from that problem, that when you get the opportunity to get out, it's our duty to do that, because who else better understand and know like us who once was in it? Right. You can't expect people, like you can't just take any type of preacher or pulpit preacher and send him in the hood and expect them to talk to these guys he can't relate to.
Right.
People only going to be really impacted in their hearts by people who they can relate to, where they see you in them. You know what I'm saying? If I don't see you and me on no relations, it's going to be like, man, because that was me. I remember the pastors and stuff used to come try to talk to us around the way. We used to look at each other, we drinking, high pistols on us, like, man, get this Bama. This Bama come up and talk, man, nobody don't want to hear that, man. Get the, what you call it, Creflo Dollar, man. That's my man, by the way. Shout out to him. I love Creflo Dollar, though. I love Creflo. But that's really what we used to be out there saying, you know what I'm saying? But now having an understanding when God shed that light, it's like, wow. And you on the outside looking in now, and it's like, that was me. So I need to be a solution now. It's like I was the problem. So God help me be the solution now. Because I have a testimony. I've been there. I've done that. The only thing I didn't do is die and do life in prison. And I'm thankful for that. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel as though it's just my duty. I got a slew of younger brothers looking up to me, nephew. Not even those who are related to me. I got a lot of young guys that look up to me as an inspiration and stuff, like even older guys, you know what I mean? Just on some real stuff. And it's like, I owe that to God for him saving me from it, because I could have died in the streets. My life could have been gone, but he kept me for a reason. And I want to give that service back to him and, just be a light, man. Just be a light to people. So, my Real Business clothing line, it's still in the works, it's a constantly building thing to where you really get you know, I'm just being led by God. Put it like that, man. I'm constantly praying and what God lead me to do, cause I don't like to do things just for entertainment and just cause something that that look good. Let's market that. That's not me. I wanted to make impact. I wanted, if you get my shirt, I wanted to say something that somebody could be walking down the street and going through a life situation and they look at it and it might speak to them. You know what I'm saying? Even at it's an artist that's affiliated with me too, Bishop Wall. Shout out to Bishop Wall, Christian music artist Bishop Wall, man. He got a clothing line called Don't Do It. And I was like, man, that's so simple, but sometimes the simplest things, just do it. I said, but don't do it could be used so greatly because it could be somebody about to do something real crazy, and that can be a sign for them. They could be in the store about to rob it or anything because they on wit's end or going through suicide. And they may see somebody with that on, and it just might be a word for them. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Just like I got the real business joint. I wore it on the last interview.
Right, yeah.
With bars. On the back of the joint, it got enough is enough. Spread love, not bullets. Who I know I might be walking down the street or somebody walking down the street with that joint on, and they might be ready to go into something, but it just might speak to them.
No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just me. That's just me. That's how I just like to do things and be led by God and make impact, not just entertain. I like to make impact.
Oh, right.
So as I'm going into it, and that's great you asked me that, because that's how I am now when it comes to freestyling. Like usually, like if somebody asks me to freestyle, if I don't have something meaningful and purposeful to say, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. And it ain't one of them things like I don't freestyle. No, I do freestyle. I freestyle a lot, but just growing up from boy to man, I began to understand the powerful, like the value of using my words. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
So it's like I don't just be wanting to speak empty words. We done that for years as a young boy, beating on the desk around the way on the X2 bus, B2 bus, beating on the bus, freestyling, hitting the go-go beat. And we saying a bunch of nothing, but it sound tight because we putting words together. I might talk about 10 or 20 guns through the whole freestyle. Or I might talk about the legs.
Shot the whole neighborhood.
Shot the whole neighborhood.
Killed 50 people.
Had a Mossberg on my back, everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like, now that I'm a man, it's like, it's a scripture, and you know I always go back to God. There's a scripture that say, when I became a man, I put away childish ways. I put away my childish ways. So it's like, as a young man, I shouldn't be still. I mean, as a man, I shouldn't be still doing the same things I did as a boy.
Right.
So now I gotta have growth. So now it's like I choose my words wisely. If I'm a freestyle, if I'm gonna spit something, I gotta make sure it's meaningful. Sometimes the best things is simple and sweet, but straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? They got substance in it. So that's just me. I just wanted to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? Just in case anybody watching who can take something from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
Real business.
Yes, indeed.
So you want me to spit something? He gave me that look like, all right, now spit something.
Ready.
All right, let me see. Let me give you like this. I don't even need no beat. Something simple and sweet. Simple and sweet. I don't even need no beat. Something simple and sweet. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the realest of them all? Tone butter, blunt man is what they call me. I speak the truth and I get straight to the point. And I'ma make my presence known when I step in this joint. Cause I'ma make a believer out of all the unbelievers. And when you finally believe it, I'ma see you when I see you. I represent for the dreamers and everybody that grind like me. Making moves, trying to turn their dreams into reality. And I ain't depending on nobody but the Lord's help. And I ain't competing with nobody but my own self. And the only one could stop me is me. God made me unique, so you can't rock this like me. And I ain't worrying about none of these jokers copying me, because they lyrics ain't got no substance. They just sloppy to me. I pray that God send a rap game a healer. He said he already did. Look at the man in the mirror. Yeah, real business. Real business.
Real business.
Real business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Simple and sweet, baby. Don't need no beat.
Tone
Real
butter.
business, man. Real business, man.
Or as the missus call you, tone butter.
You know what was funny? That before my man had started that a long time ago. People was calling me that for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, my man, when we first recorded, I tell him tone butter, He keep yelling on the mic, yeah, Tone Butters, man, Tone Butters. I said, man, stop saying that, man. They gonna think I'm selling crack again, man. He was like, oh, my bad, Slim, my bad. It's like, nah, man, you can't do that, man. I was like,
even Crackle Tim.
yeah, man.
Crackle Tim's.
Man, real business though, man.
Oh,
Hey, man, it's Valentine's Day coming. When is drink coming? It's coming out on Valentine's Day or after?
Hopefully we can put it out before Valentine's.
Oh, okay, so I don't want to be talking about Valentine's Day in its past, but happy Valentine's Day to all the women. You know what I'm saying? When y'all hear this song too, I know my sister, you know, she threw a jab at me. She talking about I was selfish. Talking about putting out a heartbreak song on Valentine's Day. Because women can't have nothing. So I got to talk about men getting their heart broken on Valentine's Day. I said, nah, you selfish because you're not being considerate of the single people, especially the men who really looking for love and they sitting there going through and stressing on Valentine's Day, or the single people who just, you know, looking at other couples and stuff like that, having it up, and they want to do Bama stuff. I may stop somebody from doing some Bama stuff to interrupt one of y'all, you know, rendezvous with your spouses, you know what I'm saying, because they single. So, yeah, man, when you hear this song, Mend My Broken Heart, man, share it with a friend. Somebody you might know that that's going through heartbreak or have a broken spirit. If you know somebody dealing with a narcissist, let them hear this song. I'm trying to tell you, they gonna be like, I like Slim. They might don't even like rap, but they gonna be like, I like him. Real business though, man. Real business though, man. Hey, look, man. Shout out to Bars on the road, man. For real. These my mans, man. These my man. These brothers right here is doing a good thing. And half the time the people behind the camera don't never get no salute or shout out, man. So I gotta shout out to them, man. Shout out to the ones behind the camera. The ones who put it together. You hear me? Yeah. Real business, man. Yeah, DMV, we in here, man. Yeah, we in here. Real business.
Appreciate that, man.
You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate, you know, it's funny because I was looking at a message. I think I may have sent this to you back in August. Mm-hmm. No, September, because it was right around the time I interviewed Rampage. Right. And so I was telling you how me and Nico, we were talking about support. How you want, like, you consistently, all the time, man. Support not just my show, right? But you support the platform. Yeah, period. Yeah, you support Win DC Radio. Period. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Yeah. So I mean, like, we definitely appreciate. I mean, just me and Ramsey, we definitely appreciate your support of our show. Absolutely. But like on behalf of Nico and on behalf of, you know, so many people I know in common, right? You know, like that consistent support, like that's pure right there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Big. Right, exactly. I feel like, man, we gotta grow together, man. Absolutely. People always looking to look up for the people who are already, you know, in the spotlight and all that. Right. I'll be like, man, look to the left of you. Look to the right of you, man. Right. Grow together with the people who who on that platform with you right there. Mm-hmm. You be surprised. Them will be them may be the people you really need. So when you get there, they may be so established that, man, yeah. I stress this all the time, but look, all I can do, I always say, man, it's better to be a light than curse the darkness. It's better to do it than sit there and talk about the people who ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe I might be an example, or maybe we can be an example. Right. You know what I'm saying? When God, you know, bless us with greater and with more. But right now, we're going to be content with what we have, and we're going to keep rocking. Shout out to all the artists and stuff I met on the Royal International Cruise. Shout out to Ari O'Neal. Shout out to Raquel Rodriguez out in LA. Shout out to dope artists I met on the cruise, man. They're super dope. And I got to look at Ari O'Neal's I think it's therapeutic interview where she was telling her story and how she got started and stuff like that. It's dope. You gotta go search on YouTube Ari O'Neal. She's a guitarist, musician in Fantasia's band. Yeah, man. But Ari O'Neal is from here, I believe. But Raquel Rodriguez, she's dope. She's from LA. Check her out too. She got an album out named 310. And I think she got another body of work coming. But yeah, check them out too, man. And I got so much on the way, but
I really, God, I wanted to be a thing where I don't really want to just talk about it. I just want to drop it. I want you to never see it coming. Because they've been sleeping on me already, so keep sleeping. You know, I'm coming like Pearl Harbor, you dig? You know what I'm saying? And God told me to tell you, keep watching. Keep watching. Shout out to Bishop Wall, too. Bishop Wall is another artist that's affiliated with Real Business Ministries. You know what I'm saying? Bishop Wall has a single out called Rebuke That Devil. For all my Christian music lovers and gospel lovers, go check out Bishop Wall on YouTube. He has an album out, Prodigal Son. Album called Prodigal Son. Go check that joint out on YouTube. And it's on other music social platforms or digital platforms. Just look up Bishop James C. Wall. Shout out to Bishop Wall. Shout out to my baby Pearl, one of my promoters from Kansas. Shout out to Junction City, Kansas. Much love to Junction City, Kansas. They show me endless love out there where Easy Street from. Shout out to Easy Street too, man. Shout out to my family. Shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, man. And shout out to my good brothers Ramsey and AJ Throwback. You hear me?
Appreciate
you hear me? The prolific. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? The prolific. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
but yeah, man. I hope nobody take anything at offense to what we would say. This was we just breaking bread. We was just being transparent and real. I'm only speaking from my perspective. If you have a different perspective, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? We can disagree without having to downplay each other and go back and forth. You know, it's okay for us to disagree.
Right.
It's okay for us to have different views. It's okay, and still love each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how much more I can stress that, because I already know how people are. No matter, we could say all this right here, if it was still somebody still going. But that's life, though.
Yeah.
You know, that's life, man. You gotta roll with the punches, man, and keep on moving.
Yes,
All I wanted to say, keep God first, man. Keep on loving. Shout out to my church home, man. MCC, Master's Child's Church, and my Bishop Melvin Robinson Jr. Shout out to my church home always, because definitely. I haven't been in a while. I gotta be honest. Because I know if they see this, they gonna be like, we ain't even seen so. I haven't been in a while though, but you know, it's all. It's like this with that. You always gotta be with your relationship with God. Come first. So many people get caught up on tradition, and sometimes you can get caught up on ministry and not. You can be caught up on doing the good thing and not what God wants you to do.
Right.
That's like if your parents say, Ramsey, I want you to clean this whole basement and the bathroom downstairs. Then you go clean the first floor, the 2 bathrooms upstairs, your mama room, the kids' room, but this whole basement ain't clean. And she come home and you like, but I did this, that, and the third. You know how you know? But you didn't do what I tell you to do.
Right.
That's not what I wanted you to do. I told you to do this.
Right.
I didn't even tell you to do that. You chose to do that. So it was a good thing. But you still in disobedience because it's not what I told you to do.
Right.
So in my walk, I love to try to be obedient. We talk about blessings all the time. Oh, God, you know, blessings, this. But nobody talks about obedience. And that's just like being in a relationship. Don't always talking about what that person can do for you, and you never talking about what you can do for them. How can you be to their need? How can you support their need? Don't always be talking about what's in it for me, or what I'm going to get.
Right, exactly.
You know, or what, me. Talk about what can you do for them. God bless me all the time. If God stopped giving me blessings, he done gave me enough to keep going. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, what can I do for you? And how can I want to do it the right way? Yeah. And sometimes, often, God will call you to do things that will contradict the natural common sense of other people. Where they look like, man, that ain't God. God ain't tell you to do that. And don't get me wrong, some people use that in the wrong manner.
Right.
So you got to have discernment to know God ain't tell you that.
Right.
You know, some people will use that, but people who really walking with God understand that, man, God will tell you to do something. And it's so many examples in the Bible that don't make sense to people naturally. If you use common sense, God is outside of your common sense.
Right.
You can't use common sense to try to understand God. Maybe in this world, but trying to understand God with common sense and what He's telling you to do, He's way outside of that. You have to have a spiritual sense. Even in His word, He said, those who worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth.
Right.
Because my word is spirit. He is spirit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I got to stay connected to Him in that way to do it. If He called me to do this, I got to do it. Even if other people get in their way. I can't be a people pleaser.
Right.
And be like,
right,
well, y'all going to think, if I do this, I don't want to do that. Because then I'm not pleasing Him. He the one who doing all this for me, not y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just wanted to throw that out there because I know a lot of people may be going through that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get caught up in that and don't move or do what God tell them to do because of how other people may look at them. And be like Noah, the story of Noah's Ark. God told Noah to build a boat with no water around. He told Noah it was going to rain and flood 40 days, 40 nights. That never even happened before. Now think about it right now. If God laid it on your heart to go out in the middle of the parking lot and build a boat, and they be like, it's going to rain 40 days, 40 nights. Or out in front of your house. Imagine how your peoples will look at you out here building a boat. Ain't no water around.
Yeah.
And you like, God said it's going to rain 40 days and 40 nights. Slim. Let's deal with reality. Let's deal with reality. Let's deal with common sense. Whatever you smoking. Straight up.
Right.
And that's equivalent to God landed on your heart to start a business and you ain't got no money. Or God landed on your heart to quit your job and to focus on this dream and this vision He put in your heart. And your people's like, Slim, I know, I understand dreams too. You feel me? But you in the real world. But you know God telling you in your heart, do it. Do it. It's just eating alive at your heart. But you like, man, let me just deal with reality because I know people going to look at me crazy. And you'll miss out on your blessing, man. If I listened to that today, I wouldn't be doing the things that I am now. God laid it in my heart. Because I had stage fright too. So I never thought I'd be an artist or none of that. Because I was like, man, I could do it around the way. And on the beat too and stuff like that. In the back of the beat too. I could rap and all that like Kokomo. I could do all that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kokomo, man. But I was like, I can't do it on no stage in front of no. But that's why you never forsake small beginnings. Because God has started you off small just to build a foundation. And every level up, you learning and preparing for what you need to know. So that when you get to the top, all you learn and how He builds you up, it'll keep you there. Because some people move too fast and that's why they fall be so great. You know what I'm saying? And when I stepped out there and I start, man, the things God would be telling me to do concerning like, especially with my music and stuff like that, and go here and do this. It used to seem ridiculous. Like, man, I ain't got no money to be doing that. But if God tell you to do it, He'll make the provisions for you. He'll make the provisions for you. Straight up.
So just let everybody know where they can connect with you on social media and where they can find your music.
Man, hit me up on social media on Twitter. Hey, I stay on Twitter. I love Twitter. Shout out to my Twitter family. At Tone BuTTa, ToneButta. Follow me on Twitter. Instagram at Call Me Tone BuTTa. CallmeToneButta. Hit me up on Facebook. Antonio Joseph Smith. And they made me put my real name on the joint, but I ain't tripping. I ain't got no warrants or nothing, so I ain't tripping. So yeah, hit me up on that joint, Antonio Joseph Smith. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see me on that joint flexing. You know what I'm saying? Looking like the president. Yeah. But yeah, man, and my music, man, SoundCloud, Audio Mac, YouTube, any digital music platform, you just type in Tone BuTTa or Real Business. BuZiness. REA capital L. Real Business. You know what I'm saying? If you type that in, or just go to Google and type in Real Business Ministries /entertainment trademark, or type in Tone BuTTa. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, everything, all my music and all that stuff will pop up, man. Go check out my latest songs I just released. Why the Good Die Young. I'm Yours. And I'm releasing a new single, supposedly now, on February the 14th on Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? So it's called Mend My Broken Heart. So I definitely want everybody to check that out, man. You know, comment, let me know what you think. Hit me up. Catch me around the DMV area. For y'all who know me, man, what's up? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? We lit. In the Jesus name, we lit.
I know I said I wouldn't do it no more, but okay. But please forgive me and tell me I'm yours. As I walk down the path of a dead-end street, I can see signs flashing, I can hear you speak, trying to warn me of the danger that lies ahead. But Lord knows I'm hard-headed, I continue to tread. Disobedience the reason I get many afflictions, disregarding wise counsel and ignoring restrictions. The painful consequences of being so foolish, tired of the bad decisions that I keep choosing. The bad that I shouldn't do, I just keep doing. Involuntary movements, corrupting influence. I think I realize what the problem could be. When I wanna do good, evil is present with me. So it's a struggle every day, trying to tame this flesh. And I fall short even when I try my best.